We consider that I'm a body, right? But who we are typically, that's what spirituality is. Spirituality questions whether are you a body, are you a mind, or are you more than that? If you are more than that, who you are, what is your purpose, right? What is the role of mind? What is the role of intelligence? What is our connection with the other people around us, to the mother nature, right? So that's what spirituality goes into the detail. Where the religion comes into the picture, it applies the cultural aspects where I am born, right? In, and applies those, and it allows us one to practice those spirituality. Okay, so that's what the religion does. So spirituality is religion agnostic, and we want to be that way because you are coming from anywhere. We would like you to grow in your quest to your better, who you want to become, right? Last week, we covered harmonizing body, mind, and spirit through meditation. We talked about there are different kind of meditation. There are two main kind of meditation. One is we focus on the objects, and other is a generic meditation, right? And in the case of the when we are focusing on something, which it can be the sound vibration, or it can be an object, right? We talked about the mantra meditation, its importance, and how it deals with it. What the mantra meditation does, it just not when we are focusing on the sound vibration, we are in a meditative state, right? Yet at the same time, because it's mantra, it it acts in a way which we haven't experienced before. And you start practicing it, you'll see how the changes are happening. And we did discuss a little bit more in the last session. As we are going through the discussion, if some topic comes, we will go and touch on that. For today, the topic is the pursuit of happiness. Okay. Now, before we start, let me ask you one question, and just uh, if you want to, when you hear this word, the sentence, the pursuit of happiness, what comes in your mind?
For me, it's the capitalist society we live in that tells us that we have to pursue some some goal or something called happiness instead of simply existing in ourselves,
Okay.
which makes us not happy at all.
Sure. Yes. Yes. And we'll discuss that. We'll definitely. You mentioned a very good point, right? We all want to be happy, but then you think, oh, but we don't know whether we are happy or not, right? Which doesn't. Okay. So without further ado, so the way it works for all the folks who came new, we play when we join, we have a topic, and then we play a small video on that, and after that we have a quick question to just get us warmed up, the icebreaker question, and then we have questions which we use that for a discussion. Okay, so we typically it takes an hour to hour 15 minutes. So that's how these sessions are constructed. The focus is more on the discussion. Okay. All right, so we will start the session for today.
The pursuit of happiness. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is one of the most famous phrases in the United States Declaration of Independence and is considered by some as one of the most influential sentences in the history of the English language. All of us are searching for happiness. We perform all of our activities with the hope to increase happiness and eliminate all suffering. Have you ever tried to stop an ant when it's heading towards someplace? The ant goes through your fingers and works its way around the obstacles to somehow find its food or find a better situation. The various species of animals, plants, insects, birds, beasts, and humans try to find happiness in their own way. Yet despite all efforts to find happiness, we encounter so many anxieties that everyone is always looking for relief, a break, or a vacation. Even the polar bear, mice, and bees go into hibernation in the winter, whereas frogs and toads go into deep sleep when it gets too warm. Of course, they're forced by their nature to do so, but humans have the ability to choose their vacations. Sometimes we do find happiness, but it is very short-lived. For example, when we eat food, we feel happy, but after a few hours, we start feeling the pangs of hunger again. Can anyone conclusively say that they have found permanent happiness? Sometimes the happiness we find comes with its own set of miseries. For example, if we eat too much, it can lead to disease. Can anyone conclusively say that they've found pure, unadulterated happiness? At other times, the happiness that we experience is relative to our surroundings and is simply a mitigation of miseries, rather than absolute happiness, which can give complete satisfaction within. Happiness seems to be simply a gap between two miserable situations. As the saying goes, one man's garbage is another man's treasure. When a person gets sick, the patient is in agony, but the doctor may be happy to get more business. Can anyone conclusively say that they have found absolute happiness? If we observe carefully, there's a distinct similarity in the way animals and humans search for happiness. The National Geographic and Discovery channels are full of shows about animals, how the different species of animals go about finding their food and how they eat it. We're also shown how the animals make nice arrangements for sleeping, how they build holes or intricate nests without any degree in civil engineering, and defend themselves from other creatures. By nature's arrangement, every animal has been provided with some kind of defense system. A turtle, who's very slow, has been provided with a shell to withdraw. An animal with a fragile body has been provided with speed to escape. We're also shown how the animals procreate and produce offspring. Everything that we see in animal life seems to revolve around the basic principles of eating, sleeping, mating, and defending themselves. An animal may eat raw food, and man may eat cooked delicacies on the top floor of a restaurant, enjoying the scenery all around, but the principle of eating is common. An animal may sleep in the forest sludge, and man may sleep on Tempur-Pedic mattresses or on a waterbed, but the principle of sleeping is common. An animal may procreate in the open, and man may have elaborate arrangements for finding a partner and procreating offspring, but the principle of mating is common. An animal may defend with claws and teeth, and man may defend with bombs and missiles, but the principle of defending is common. However, humans do not find real satisfaction simply by pursuing happiness in these four activities of eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. In spite of technological and scientific advancements, despite possessing money, comforts, and luxuries, people are full of anxieties. We've reached the summit of material civilization. Mobile phones, computer systems, broad highways, fine cars, fast flights, and machines for everything. But people are still dissatisfied. The divorce rate, the suicide rate, depression, the crime rate, all of these are ever increasing all over the world, and certainly these do not signify any degree of happiness. History is filled with examples of affluent people who have everything that one could dream of, and yet have committed suicide or have lived in seclusion due to fear, or have passed away due to drug overuse. Why is man unhappy, even after possessing practically everything necessary for comfortable and luxurious living? Could it be that real happiness lies beyond the four common activities? One may say that animals also have a sense of discrimination. An eagle can sight its prey from miles away. A dog can smell and detect thieves. A cat has the discrimination to drink milk from the kitchen without being detected. Honeybees have a very efficient social setup in which the worker bees go for collecting honey without going on a strike, while the drones take care of the queen who begets offspring. So even though animals have some sense of discrimination, the discrimination power of animals is limited to and does not go beyond eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. The animals are not interested in life's bigger picture. The human body has the capacity to go beyond the four principles of eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. to inquire into the causes of suffering and the destination of life. At some point in our lives, every human being, whether an atheist or a person of faith, has pondered, I do not want miseries, I do not want unhappiness. Why is it imposed upon me? I want happiness, I want peace of mind, I want bliss. Why is it eluding me? What is the destination of life? What happens after death? Why is my life ridden with anxiety of facing and tackling one problem after another? Is this all life is meant for? Or is there a life of eternal joy that is never inhibited by sufferings? In human society, all cultures, traditions, and faiths are founded on the principles surrounding these very questions in pursuit of permanent, pure, and absolute happiness. As the first aphorism of the Vedanta Sutra proclaims, now therefore inquire into the absolute truth.
Okay, so we have one more.
There are so many things with which we have to struggle. This is called struggle for existence, even the modern scientists, they call it. It is not a very peaceful situation. The same question was raised by Sanatana Goswami, that why there should be struggle for existence? Why not easy life, peaceful life? Why some outer elements are giving us opposition? I want to be happy, but there is opposition. That is struggle for existence. This question should be there. Why? Even with a fly we have to fight. I am sitting without doing any harm to the fly, and it attacks. Bothers. So many. Even if you sit down without any offense, just like you are passing on the street, there is no offense, but from one house, all the dogs begin to bark. Why you are coming here? Why you are coming? There is no cause of his barking, but because it is dog, his business is why you are coming. Why you are coming. Similarly, we have no freedom to go from one place to another at the present moment. There is immigration department. Why you are coming? Why you are? In many places we have been refused to enter. We have been refused from the airplane. No, you cannot enter. Go back. So I have to go back. So many disadvantages. So, padanga jada vipada, nothing. In this material world, you cannot live very peacefully. Not peacefully at all. There are so many impediments. The Shastra says, padanga jada vipada. Every stage there is danger. Not only from these lower animals, but from the human society, by nature, on which we have no control. In this way, our life is not very happy in this material world, and we should be advanced in inquiring about it. So why there are so many impediments? That is human life. That is human life. So, how to inquire how to become happy, what is the goal of life, Sanatana Goswami, not only Sanatana Goswami is representing us, we do not know. We do not know. So, by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or by the mercy of the servants of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one can be enlightened. That's what is the goal of life, why there is struggle for existence, why there is death. I do not want to die, why there is birth. I do not wish to enter into the mother's home and remain packed up condition for so many days. I do not want to become old man, but these things are enforced upon me. Therefore our business is, real business is, how to solve these questions. Not to arrange for economic development. Economic development, whatever we are destined, we shall get it. Either happiness or distress, we shall get it. It's like we don't try for distress, but it comes, it is enforced upon us. Similarly, the little happiness which we are destined to obtain, that will also come. That is Shastra's advice. And don't waste your time to get artificially some happiness. Whatever you are destined to get happiness, it will come automatically. How it will come? Jatha dukkham jasanaka. The same way, that you don't try for distress, but it comes upon you. Similarly, even if you don't try for happiness, whatever you are destined to do, so don't waste your time bothering about this so-called happiness and distress. Better engage your valuable time to understand what is the goal of life, why there are so many problems, why you have to struggle for existence. This is your message.
All right, so these were the two video to get us grounded into the topic. Um, okay, so we start with the quick icebreaker question. What is the best thing that happened to you this past month? And we can go in any order.
I'll start. This past month, so it's about 9 days, all my siblings, we are all spread out over the country, all grown, spread out over the country. And so they all came to Washington to visit me and have celebrations for the birthdays that are in July. So that was fun.
Oh, and whose birthday is in July? Yours, Bree?
Yes, mine, my son, my
Wow.
brother-in-law. Yeah,
Wow.
there's a lot of
Wow.
July birthdays in there.
Wow. Amazing. Wonderful. So we are going to celebrate the birthday, I suppose, in this one of the weeks. Thank you, Bree. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else?
Sure, I could go next. So we recently adopted a cane corso puppy. He went through some trauma as a puppy, so he's very, let's just say he's not the most pro people, especially strangers. He's very, gets very nervous. He gets very guard dog like. So we've been trying to make sure he's able to mingle with our friends without acting like a psycho. So while working on that for the past few months, this month we actually hung out with friends. And, he wasn't that much of a butthole to all of them. Some of them, yes, but there was some progress, and we're very glad for that. So I think that's one thing that I was glad to able to see, that he's becoming more comfortable and being less of a butthole.
Thank you, Nitashika. Who
I'll
else?
go.
Go ahead,
Um,
Tina.
I had something that I've had to change my mindset on because I had an offer on a house, but it fell through. So I've had to readjust my mindset on it and decide for myself that that was a divine intervention, that it wasn't supposed to happen, and that money that I had painstakingly saved is meant for something greater.
Wonderful. What a wonderful realization. It goes very well with the topic. You, in the second video, you heard that, right? The Swami saying that many things happen because it has to happen, right? And if we uh, just look into that pattern in our life, we'll start realizing that there is a lot of power in that sentence. And that's what you're realizing here, Dina, with this. So thank you for sharing that. All right, so we will to our, I must stop sharing. So I will move to the discussion part, and I will say the question, and I'm also going to paste in the chat. Okay, so you can click on your chat and you will see the question there also. So the first question is, what are the similarities between human beings and animals?
Well, I think we all have some basic natural needs, right? Eat, sleep, procreate, keep shelter, keep safety.
Very good, very good. Yeah, you mentioned all the four things: sleeping, eating, mating, defending. These are the similarities we all humans and animals have. Okay, so then the next question, which is, and thank you, Dina. And Dina is telling we are driven by our monkey mind, the need drive us. Okay, uh, all right. And Nitashika is saying have emotions. Yes. All right. So the next natural question is, what? So we want to be happy, right? We want to be happy. What distinguishes the search for happiness between humans, between human beings and animals?
I think one of the things that I've been reading about and I have been thinking about is, as humans, we somehow believe that we exist for a reason. And there isn't a reason for existing, and there is a soul or some other purpose. And we're constantly looking for that, whatever that is. I feel like um, I feel like that constant looking diverts us from what it is our purpose is. So it becomes a cycle of wanting to know but not knowing because you're diverted by these other external matters in life.
Very
So
true.
when people say to me, or maybe when I was younger, I would say I am trying to find myself, but I don't have to find myself. I exist in myself, right? And the finding is the pursuit of happiness, right? What do I have to do to get to that next thing?
Very good. Very good. And anybody would like to so um,
I don't know if that makes sense.
to me, I would like other folks contribute. It's making sense to me. Anybody would like to add or say something more?
I don't know if this is the correct answer because I honestly don't know what I kind of don't even think trying to pursue happiness or sadness or whatever, like for me at least, maybe it doesn't matter to me. I think I try to live in the moment. Not always, but I try. I think if one lives in the current moment, the rest really works out it like the way it needs to work out. Because if you're pursuing something in the future, in my opinion, or living in the past or dwelling over whatever happened in the past, you're truly not in the moment. And I think the moment that we have now is all that's guaranteed to us. So if you're not there, then you're really not in a place of maybe peace. I don't know. That's kind of like one thought that I have had recently. I don't know how accurate that is.
You are speaking like a sage. Sages say that don't live in the past and don't live in the future. So don't have the feel bad that what happened in the past and don't have anxiety what's going to happen in the future, right? So you're speaking like a sage. And animals, and this is where Priya and Nitashika, both of you are alluding, and this is what I get, is both you are saying as a human, we have the ability to inquire why, right? Just right now we are having a discussion here, right? You're saying where Priya is saying that um, is there a happiness or not, and then Nitashika is saying that just live in a moment, right? So ability to inquire is that makes us different than the animals. Animal cannot inquire, right? If somebody throws a stone at the animal wouldn't come and say, question why you are throwing a stone at me, while somebody sent throw a stone at me, I will definitely question after a couple of times, maybe first time, right? So yeah, yep. Thank you. Any other thoughts?
I think what distinguishes humans from animals a lot of the time, in addition to the pursuit of happiness, is the ability to discriminate about the activities that they are doing in that pursuit. As an animal has to, and they're bound to their own instincts, they don't get to choose that they want to be a movie star or a president or anything like that in their pursuit of happiness, whereas humans have the ability to do so.
Right, right. Very good, very good. And now you tell me, like this seems like a very basic question. So asking again to, and I'm not typing in the chat window. What is the intent of this question, right? So we say, okay, what is the difference between what is the similarity between, we started with the first question, what is the similarities between the animal and the human? Then the second question we started, what is the difference? Why even this line of question? What where we want to go? What is the purpose of these questions?
I think as humans, we have separated ourselves from the natural world. And in that separation, we have lost track of what is our relationship to each other, to the planet, to the universe. And we see that in many ways. And maybe some of that is in how we're treating the earth now, and how we move, how we treat each other. And that truly we are all interconnected in some way.
There is no doubt about it. But the question is, um, and we will cover, I don't want to digress the topic. The question we will go in the future session and ask, how do we know that we are connected, right? What scientific proofs or any experiential proofs can we talk about it, right? So we will definitely delve in that topic, definitely for sure. And it has the linkage to the uh, being happy or not being happy also. Or you tell me, like, what do you think? What is the linkage of this, what you mentioned, Priya, with being happy or not being happy?
I think that when you separate yourself from the natural world, you pursue, you lose track of what simple existence, I guess that's what I want to call it, right? What is the existence? You lose track of that. So if we separate ourselves from the natural world and we say we're different than the animals who have these basic needs, and that we have some needs more than those basic needs, that we start pursuing those, and whatever that can be, right? That can be job, that can be money, that can be relationship, that can be a big, whatever it is, right? You start thinking that that is what will make you happy instead of just existing. And I think someone said it, I don't remember who, but saying that prevents us from living and accepting now, today, right now. That's the connection.
Okay, okay, very good. Anybody would like to add anything? Dina, not to put pressure on you, but anything you would like to share?
I I was just drawing the parallels to people and animals. I think humans, when we find purpose in our life or we get into a flow state, I I think that's when we are happiest and our best selves. Whether that's in the natural world or not, I'm not sure, but um, I think that purpose is what drives us. A deep need for connection and feeling like there's a reason behind all this. Uh, and I think when we're living our purpose, that's when we're truly happiest.
Very, very good, good observation. And you used a very nice word, flow. What? And you would like to say, what is that flow state? And I'm going to put a next question also. What is that flow state?
To
What
me, a
causes?
flow to me, a flow state means anything that you do well, that you excel at, um, that comes naturally. Maybe it's hard at first, but you can do that, and it brings you joy,
Very nice.
and
Very
you can lose
nice.
track of time, I suppose.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. Uh, and just I'll bring a few discussion we had in the last session. Um, uh, Dina, do you recollect what we talked about the yoga? What is yoga? Any chance?
uh, I was in a really rough
Oh yeah,
headspace
okay, yeah, 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 okay, okay.
last week.
Yes, yes, I know, I know, I know, I know. Sorry. Okay, so yoga. So see, people talk yoga in a many different way, but one practical definition we were sharing that yoga has three aspects. It's a practice to align our mind in a way so that we can discover our true self. It's a very practical definition. So there are three aspects. Yoga is a practice to align our mind. Second thing, so mind. And the third is to discover ourselves, right? So that discovery in any yoga practice has to happen. We talked about there are many yoga systems, and we won't go into that. But just as we are having the discussion, you see the importance of mind and then the purpose. This what the beautifully Dina, what you mentioned, the purpose, and then you had brought the term flow, right? Then the flow state, when we are in the flow state, the mind is totally aligned with my ultimate purpose of life. Now, what is that purpose? Some may articulate, some are still discovering for it, and some who are who right now are not caring, maybe they will care later, right? So the mind is really a medium via which we can do that, right? And that also discriminates humans from animals, and that's what Bree was telling, right? That discrimination ability, right? That we have, our mind has that discriminating ability, which we have to go and discover. All right. So next question. Technological advancement has given several facilities to human beings today. No animal can dream of inventing such things. Is this what makes human special? What do you all think? So again, in other words, I don't know if the question is making sense. We say that we are we are growing technologically, right? We are the living standard is growing up. We are becoming more modern, right? Um, is that is that what makes us special? Animals cannot do that. Is this what makes us human special, or there is something more to it?
I don't think well, in the comparison to an animal and a human, I guess, I don't think it makes us more special. I think that like anything in life, if you utilize it correctly, then you could have advantages to it. But if you don't know how to utilize it correctly, then you could, be, I mean, a lot of your time would be wasted. And so I think the animals probably have more of an advantage because a lot of what I see, at least, people waste a lot of their time on advanced technology. And because they're not using it right, they're just, that's my 2 cents.
That's wonderful observation, Bree. Thank you.
What? So I think that humans, as we are advancing in technology, we have forgotten the past and we have forgotten some of the things that animals know. So, for example, whales, right? Whales have millennia of big data that they have, and how the oceans flowed and how the waters went, and and now there's some science coming out from the Native American communities that fishing, when the natives watched how the whales moved, they would manage their fishing because the whales had that knowledge, right? And then we forgot that technology that those animals possess. So do I think it makes us better? I think we have different, I think I think in some ways we have created things to distract us while forgetting the things that that have existed for a long, long time. And I hate to put a moniker of good and or different or special, because I think it's it is what it is. But we have to remember, I mean, if we do think we are special, then we have to remember the stuff that comes before us as well.
Hmm. So in a way, I suppose you are saying that technological advancement, if anything, is only distracting us. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying it's only distracting us. I think it's a distraction. And I
Okay.
think that in that distraction, we have forgotten the rest of technology that existed because we don't understand it.
Hmm.
We don't understand the big data that the
Hmm.
whale pods have, right? We don't understand, um, I don't know. We don't understand how dogs can smell. I mean, every creature has their own kind of technology. We're just distinguishing one from another.
Very, very well said, actually, that we all have our gifts, right? Even the animal, the whale has a gift, dog has a gift. Similarly, we human have a gift, right? and how appropriately we are using it. And the humans, and I'm just trying to do the linkage that if humans are using our so-called gift of higher intelligence in only the technological advancements and getting distracted by it, then I suppose we are missing the point, right? Um, so anybody else would like to add?
I think technology or no technology, I don't think humans are more special than animals. And I think if humans do think that they are more special or better than animals, then you're letting the ego get to you. And I think ego just leads to people's downfall
Mhm.
collectively. I just kind of my thought.
Wonderful, actually. Wonderful. I love it.
I agree with that. I think the word special should be replaced with complex.
Very good. Very good. Uh, and look into the data, right? And see, I'm a technologist, right? I work in the tech. Okay. Um, but what you would see that anything, our advancement is, am I feeling at peace? Am I feeling less stressed? Am I happy? But what we are seeing that as the technology is advancing, the suicide rate is going up, the depression is going up, the crime rate is going up, the suicide is going up, right? All this is happening. This is something wrong. Of course, so we can say that yes, technologically we are advancing, but it seems that we are missing the point. Something else is missing, right? So that's and you all have answered that question, right? That ego comes into the picture, that leads to the more stress and people competing with each other. Um, so, and there is nothing. Again, I'll repeat. There's nothing wrong in utilizing our intelligence for the right purpose, right? But if we are utilizing our intelligence for the things which is ultimately not making me happy, then there is something, there is some flaw somewhere, right? So that's what this question is trying to take us. But today's last question for our discussion. So share one thing that bring you happiness and one thing that brings you unhappiness in your daily life. What do you conclude from this discussion?
I could go. One thing that brings me happiness. So my parents live literally a block away from me, and they babysit my niece and nephews when I go there every morning to eat food because I don't know how to cook. Uh, my niece and nephew, they run up to the door and they're like, "Hey, Aunt, how are you? I hope you have a good day." They smile, they say that, they hug me, and I think that brightens up my day. No matter if I'm having a good day, bad day, when they do that, I'm like, perfect moment. Nothing can go wrong. So I think that's something that brings me great joy, just connection with my loved ones. And then in terms of what makes me upset or maybe not so pleasant, I investigate claims when people lie and try to commit fraud. It makes me lose faith in humanity little by little. Plus, they're so bad at it. So I'm like, what are you doing? Be better about this.
Like it, what you said, Nitasika.
Yeah, so I think that kind of just bothers me.
Yep. I love that your niece and nephew hugging you, and that you say how that brings happiness in your life. Our happiness comes with the so small things, right?
Yeah.
Definitely relationship, um, love, right? So thank you. Anybody else?
I don't know that I have a good one, but I'm an athlete. I'm a triathlete, and I love to wake up early in the morning and have whatever my workout is to clear my mind in the morning. That's how I clear my mind for the day. So I love that, to have just peaceful morning where everyone is still sleeping, I get into my flow state, Dina, and start the day with peace and clarity. I think that's what brings me happiness. What brings me unhappiness? The world brings me unhappiness. The selfishness of the world brings me unhappiness. Seeing others suffer brings me unhappiness. And so, I don't know, what do you conclude from this discussion? There's so much to conclude. I think the clarity of thinking, I feel like I have to do a better job in moving through my day, the peacefulness and the clarity of thinking.
Very good. Very good. In fact, we didn't ask the question, but if you just focus on the video, there were few things, especially I'm giving the hint. The Swami in the second video was asking, why don't we think about this? Why don't we think about that? Why don't we think about that? Does anybody recall? So okay, before I'll end that what I recall. But let's say anybody else would like to contribute to this question.
I'll say what brings me happiness is connection with my friends and family. I try to remain mindful that not so long ago during the pandemic that we were all very isolated, and that was very depressing for me and I'm sure a lot of others. And so connection brings me happiness and I value it. So I try to nurture those relationships ever since that. It was a big eye opener. What brings me unhappiness is just the daily rat race. I transport a bunch of fuel every day for my job, and I'm on these wonderful roads. And I embrace the moments when there's kind drivers out there, but there's a lot of unkind people. And they, sometimes they don't value life. They drive around a big bomb and they don't think. And it's funny that we get so deeply wrapped up in what's going on in our day-to-day lives that we lose sight of the bigger picture sometimes. And I was talking to a friend yesterday because somebody had cut me off severely, and I said, well, the sad thing is they're probably not thinking, when they go to work in the morning, they put on their tennis shoes. Who's going to take off your shoes at night? Hopefully it's you. Hopefully it's not the corner, because you're so wrapped up in what's going on here that you're not thinking about what's going on around you. I know I got a little off topic there, but that brings me a little bit of stress, anxiety, and unhappiness when I see people not caring for others on the road.
Very good. You can see the commonality between the answers, right? Commonality is relationship, connection, bringing happiness. And when you see people are not being compassionate, you feel unhappiness, right? You see the commonality there, right? For the so far, whatever we have heard. Bree, would you like to conclude the session for us today?
What brings me happiness? So I would say that I am I feel conditioned to being somebody who helps people. So that brings me happiness. And I do that in my job. I do that just in general. So I get happiness from that, helping people. What brings me unhappiness in daily life, I would agree with what everybody else was saying. I feel when people are so into whatever activities they're doing, they do not consider other living entities, whether it be a human or any living entity. And that brings me unhappiness. And so what do I conclude from this discussion? What really drove home for me was more so, yes, we as humans are looking for the pursuit of happiness, but, we're looking for that by the activities that we do. And so what I took from this is that, um, I feel that a lot of people become anxious when when they feel like they don't have time to do those activities. And so if you do find activities, and I think somebody mentioned it, but if you do find some activities where it brings you joy, and you find purpose in it, you should be utilizing your time in that positive way. That's what I got from there.
Thank you, Bree. Thank you very much. So, see, in conclusion, what you would see that the best thing what we have in our life is connection, the relationship. But also often we have seen that the same connection relationships can also become the cause of our unhappiness also sometimes. Do you agree? The same, a special relationship, in intimate relationship or casual relationship, anything, right? Um, and in these sessions, basically, when you say the conclusion, right, what do you conclude from this discussion? Um, it is, you see, there's a subtle point is trying to make. So the discussion is trying to say that, hey, we all human. We are using our reasoning power in technological advancement and other things. But it seems that there are other questions to be probed and asked. And the Swami in the video, he talked about, we don't question why we are taking birth, why we are dying. Is there something more to it? Is this what life is all about? Which is having little happiness and little misery, or more misery and little happiness. Is this life is all about, or something more to it? And that's what spiritual science is all about. This is what we are going to be discussing in the future session. So I'm leaving you on the cliffhanger that we will continue the next session. So now we are in inquiry phase. So see, the first session we built that, we want to harmonize our mind, and we also said that to harmonize the mind, mantra meditation is one of the wonderful meditation technique. And today we explored the question that we as a human have the special ability, which is to inquire. And we looked into our inquiry aspect that technological advancement is great, but if it is not leading to my happiness, then I have to discover what is the purpose of life. And those purpose of life is something, the next session topic is consciousness, the missing link. Okay, so now we will be getting going deeper and deeper in this science. Okay, so we'll be exploring consciousness, the missing link, in the next session. So don't miss it. All right, and we are trying to build the community here, and we know many times women like to interact with women. So Bree is there. She's a very experienced practitioner of yoga. Okay. Please feel free to exchange your number. Bree is of course, you're all on WhatsApp. Anytime you want to talk, have any topic, a special topic, women a specific topic, feel free to talk with Bree. Okay, you can always ask me if you feel all comfortable. All right. So with that, thank you very much for being here. See you next week.
Nice to meet you all.
Same here. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Have a good night. Thank you.
Good night.